Welcome to the recording of your essay literary analysis on the story The Gift of the Magi by O. Henry. So this is going to cover what you need to know about writing your essay. So first I want to start off with what is a literary analysis? A literary analysis is a way for you to analyze the text for its literary qualities. And the literary qualities that you'll be analyzing is usually given in a prompt, but not always. Specifically, I'll be looking for use of literary terms. Use of quotes is going to be very important here. And the major focus is how and why is this piece of work written? So how is it written? What kind of themes are at work here, and why might that be? The prompt that you have for this assignment is a 500-word essay describing the theme of O. Henry's The Gift of the Magi. Explain how the author uses irony as an essential tool in developing this theme. So again, we're going to be looking at the overarching theme and how irony plays a role into that. So those are the major literary terms you should be utilizing in this essay. So I want to go over some of the major events that happen that give us the irony. So we have this initial panic about presents by both Jim and Della. We don't see Jim's perspective, but we know clearly he was panicked because of what he did. Which leads these folks to give up what they have, so that you have something to give the other person. So we know Della cuts off her hair and she gets the watch chain for Jim. And we know Jim gives away the watch to buy the hair combs. And this is what leads us to this big moment of irony, is these people are sacrificing things that, well, they needed in order to use their present, which leads us to that major ironic moment. So when you're writing this essay, this is a basic outline of what I'm looking for here. You'll have an introductory paragraph, which will kind of give context to the story, talk about these people are poor, we know they're poor, they don't get any letters, they live in this little apartment. Make sure you include the title and the author of this story in your introductory paragraph. And your main points, which again will be the emphasis of irony in the story, and how irony portrays whatever theme you pick for this story. Remember, there are several themes in this story: sacrifice, love, how poor people seem to not be greedy. Any sort of theme you really want to pick, as long as you can justify it by discussing the irony in the story. So your first body paragraph, I would recommend using one example of irony in the story. So you'll have a topic sentence, your evidence, which should be a direct quote from the text, explain your evidence, and then tie it back to your thesis. So again, if your thesis is that the major theme here is about sacrifice, explain how that quote and the irony of it reinforces this concept of sacrifice in the story. And then repeat it. So find another way that sacrifice is happening in the story and how it's ironic. So these 3-body paragraphs should really have probably a total of 6 quotes that demonstrate the irony of the story. Now, you don't have to do 3-body paragraphs. You can do 2 if you need to. But again, looking for direct quotes for irony, how that irony displays your thesis. Your concluding paragraph will be very similar to your introductory paragraph, with your main points and thesis. Again, that title and author needs to show up at the bare minimum at the intro paragraph and in the concluding paragraph. If you feel comfortable, go ahead and note in your paragraphs, when O. Henry says, quote, or you can talk about the title in any of the paragraphs also. So don't shy away from using those. And then closing context to finish out your essay that should tie back to your introduction. Some quick do's and don'ts. Do reread for clarity. I recommend reading it out loud, slowly, even to somebody else, or have someone else read it out loud to you. It's going to help you catch anything awkward, any funny sentences or word combinations. Don't assume that one draft is perfect. Frequently I send drafts back with notes and say, look, you can do better and this is what I need from you. Do explain and give relevant evidence. This is making sure that your quotes make sense, are quality quotes, and that you explain them. You can put in a quote that says, yeah, Della cut off all her hair. Okay, what does that mean? Explain how that's important to the story, how it's ironic, how it enforces your theme. Please, I'm begging you, do not use personal pronouns. Don't talk about yourself, and don't talk about the essay. So no, in my essay I'm going to, or this essay will, or I'm going to talk about, or in the story, The Gift of the Magi, I see a lot of just don't talk about yourself. Don't talk about you. Don't talk about the essay. Just write the essay. And do use direct quotes. Please, I'm begging you, put in direct quotes. You can say Della sacrifices a lot of things. Like what? Give me specific examples. Use the quotes from the text. And that's what I've got for you. If you've got any questions or need extra clarifications, I'm happy to answer them via phone call, text, email, Odyssey, or message, whatever your preference, but I am here if you need it. Otherwise, good luck and happy writing!